Hello.
Go.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it
Hey.
going?
Hey,
Good. How you doing?
Good. It's so nice to
we're
meet you. I'm David.
good.
This is Grace.
Hi, David and Grace. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for doing
Oh my
this.
gosh, thank
Oh,
you for doing this.
We always kind of like to start off and ask our guests to take us back and if see if there was a moment where you realized that you wanted to be in the entertainment industry because you started really young, right?
I did. I did. I started so young. I'm trying to remember the moment that I knew I wanted to entertain. I always enjoyed putting together plays in my living room. My parents said I would perform for my stuffed animals, and
Such a
like
good
I
Yes.
love
thing.
performing and putting on shows. But I do remember the moment when I believe I was 7 years old, and my mother took me to the local library, and there was a uh, theater camp production or a piece of a production of Amelia Bedelia, and I realized that kids could perform for real, like not
hmm
just
Not to
Not
stuffed
just for
animals.
stuffed
not
animals.
exactly. There was a wider audience available,
Yeah.
and it all of a sudden became real. I was like, oh my gosh, this could be a real thing, and I watched that show, that performance. I told my mom then and there. I have a memory of this saying like, I want to do that. And my mom was like, let's go meet the people. And it was Polka Dot Playhouse, which was a theater camp in
Cute.
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Okay.
And they're like, well, next year you should audition. And I thought about it all year long. And I went and auditioned the next year. I had to prepare a song. And I booked the role of Peter in Peter Pan
There it is.
and
Hey.
never looked back. That was it. I was hooked, no pun intended. But it really was. It was very. I was only 8 years old, but it was life changing. In that, I remember the feeling of like, oh, these are my people. This is what I want
Mhm.
to do. This is what I enjoy. Perform. I like being in front of an audience. I enjoy learning songs. I enjoy the technical aspect. I was like hooked to the theater. I didn't want to leave. There was this little island in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where this old theater sat, and they did the productions there. And I just remember not wanting to leave the theater. I like just
Mhm.
fully fell in love with it. And that was my introduction. And every year for the summers, that's what I did for a few years. We did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We did Music Man. Once on This Island, which is like totally inappropriate for a bunch of white kids in Connecticut to perform, was
Oh
like the
boy.
thing.
Uh-huh.
Those
And
were the days.
those were the days. Peter Pan, and those may have been the productions that I was involved with there, but it was huge because it really was, real productions,
Hmm.
and with real audiences and a little band uh, and yeah, I was hooked, and then everything kind of sprung out from there. All the other pathways that I've taken that are all in entertainment industry related, all kind of jumped off from that one seminal Amelia Bedelia performance
It
at
all
the
comes
Fairfield
back
Public
to
Library.
Amelia.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that your mom was like, let's do it whenever you said that.
Yeah. That
yeah.
doesn't always happen.
My parents were so supportive. I really feel fortunate that I didn't have stage parents. I was never pushed to do it at all. And I have two siblings, and from what I remember, the way that we were raised was like, you can do anything, but you have to do it. We were lower middle class, and it was like, we can afford to figure this out. If
Hmm.
this is what you want to do, we'll put you in singing lessons or dance lessons, whatever it is. But you have to go and you have to practice every single day. If
Mm.
you're going to go to an audition, you have to work hard to
Sure.
do it. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what's the
And the
point?
same thing for my brother, who wanted to do sports at the time. He's like, okay, but you have to go to every. You're not going to slack off. And
Hmm.
so I think we all kind of learned like, all right, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. Um, and there was like a work ethos behind that. But they were always very, very supportive as long as I showed up.
Oh yeah, and for kids too, learning anything younger, that muscle just starts to develop way earlier. Like I always think that I wish I had done things when I was younger because it would be a heck of a lot easier than when you start as an adult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Learning
my
piano
gosh.
now is like totally impossible. But
Oh no.
but
Yeah.
back in the day it would have been easier. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And we read online, is it true that you are a self-taught trombone player?
No.
No. We love
We
looking
love
like the
to see
IMDb
what
fun
is
facts to see
actually
what's true and
real.
what's not.
That's really funny. That's an IMDb thing. That's very funny. My trombone history was that in the sixth grade, I started going to public school and joined the band. And I never really, I'd taken piano lessons, but I had never kind of studied music outside of that. And you got to choose any instrument that you wanted. And I've always been a brass fan. I don't know why, but I've always loved brass. And so I chose the trombone. And then about just a few weeks into that school experience of going to school there, I got a job and had to leave. Had to leave completely. I got the touring Broadway production of The King and I, and went on the road for like a year. And so my entire brass trombone career lasted for all of 3 weeks
All
in public
right.
school. I can still kind of like get a tune out. I can get the sound out, but
Mhm.
no one would be hiring me to play trombone. In that sense, I guess I am self-taught. No one
Mhm.
taught me,
Okay.
but not
Okay.
very good. Not very good at
Yeah.
all.
I'm just glad we could clear
Well,
that up
thank
for
God.
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
who's been
And
wanting
thank
to
God for
know.
IMDb's keeping it alive though. You are a professional
All
according
right,
to
so
IMDb.
that's what I'm
So,
gonna have. When we at the end of this, we'll delete that part from this episode, so everybody continues to think that I
Yes.
am
yeah.
a
A
professional trombone player.
self-taught. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
exactly.
Self-taught.
not your fault it says that. Just ride with it,
That's
you know?
hilarious.
Have either of you taught yourself instruments?
Oh, I wish. I tried. I tried with the piano, but it's very hard.
Very
Yeah,
hard.
I wouldn't say self-taught, but I started taking drum lessons in like the third grade and played drums then through senior year of high school.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like with so like
Did like the
the
marching band.
marching band. Very cool.
Yeah.
What was your marching band drum?
I did the quints where you had like the five drums in front of you.
That's the
David.
the good drummers. That's what the good drummers
I was
did.
first chair, not to brag.
Wait,
Whoa.
tell us more. You're hiding all of this.
That's the quits are really impressive.
Thank you. It
Yeah.
was really
I
fun. I
was
loved it.
smallest bass drum, which was like every few bars you were just like boom.
Yep.
That was
Sometimes
the
hit
whole
the
thing.
other side.
Exactly, and then the rest of the drums go dum, dum, dum. But you guys were working hard over
Yeah.
there. That's very impressive. Do you think if you put them on now, you'd be able to kind of roll back in?
I think I could.
I think you could too.
I know we get like the email every like year, every couple years for alumni night, and I'm like, one of these years I'm gonna fly back to Illinois.
With all the drums.
I'm gonna do
It's
it.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm
But
impressed.
Thank
I'm
you.
impressed.
but you briefly mentioned when you were in The King and I. So how old were you when that happened? You were in high school
No, I was in middle school.
and you had to leave school, you said.
Yeah, I was 11 and 12 on that tour. Yeah, like I said, I was a musical theater kid and fan, and I loved Les Miserables. That was
Oh,
like
so
my
good.
all-time at the time. For whatever reason, at that age, it really slapped. And I went to a Hebrew day school, and I would walk around the halls singing Les Mis. And a teacher
Mhm.
stopped me and said, "Oh, do you like musicals?" I was like, "Do I?" And
You perform
Start
right there.
belting.
yeah, exactly. Just jumped into the songbook. And he was like, "Well, my daughter is on Broadway in Les Mis right now. And if you are into that kind of thing, you should meet her manager." And through a series of talks with my parents and all these other things, we went into the city and met. And this was, I guess a couple years into doing that acting camp, and I had been loving it. And Terry Saperstein in New York City signed me on as a client, and I was 9 or 10 years old and started auditioning for professional work in the city and
Mm.
elsewhere. Um, and in the beginning, it was unclear. Both my parents worked. I had siblings. How I would actually do a
Make this
job if I
work.
got a job.
Yeah.
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 But when I booked I believe this is true. I have to fact check this, but I think there was a possibility of me doing a tour playing Gavroche in Les Mis. But it was so early on in that experience of auditioning that my parents were like, "There's no, I don't know how are we going to go on the road for a year? We have
Sure.
siblings, we have jobs."
Yeah. You
And so by the
can't plan
time,
for that.
right, and at that point, I think Terry Saperstein was like, "Well, if you're going to do this, then we got to figure this out. We're not going to send you
Mhm.
out on auditions if you can't do the jobs." And so when I booked The King and I, my grandfather came out with me for like like nearly a year. And was
Oh,
on
Oh,
board with me.
wow.
oh,
And we
that's so
traveled the
nice.
whole country together. Yeah, the whole of the US basically.
What a cool first like professional job in this
Mm-hmm.
industry.
It was amazing. We had Haley Mills, Donna Murphy, Marie Osmond, Faith Prince. I mean, just an incredible cast of women who played Anna.
Mhm.
And it was a big Broadway production. We played like all the big, we played like the Pantages here in Los Angeles and like 12 tractor trailers that brought the sets around. It was basically like a Taylor Swift tour, but,
Yeah,
for Rogers and
Oh,
Hammerstein.
it's the
sure.
same.
You're basically on
Yeah.
the Eras tour.
They're all, yeah, they're commonly compared.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, and so that began kind of more professional work, and The King and I was the first big theatrical job that I did like that.
Okay.
And then how was that being in middle school? Did you go back to school after that? Like, how was that transition? Middle school is just a really hard time. There's just a lot going on
It
socially in your mind everywhere.
Mm,
is absolute. It was terrible. Yeah, it was.
mm.
Yeah, middle school is horrible.
It's, oh
I,
God. Yeah.
it's the worst. Yeah, it was really hard. I mean, honestly, it was. I also had found the thing that I wanted to do.
Hmm.
And I wanted to be on the road. I wanted to be auditioning. I wanted to be working. My dream was to be, a working actor in New York. And I knew that. And so it became kind of this tricky having one foot out the door when I was in school anyway.
Mhm.
And that was not very helpful for my grades.
Sure.
And or for friendships. I think especially in middle school, I had very few friends because I was always in and out. I was a musical theater kid. I was taking dance lessons or singing lessons, and that was not considered what the popular kids did by any means.
Mm.
Hmm.
We did move in. We moved houses. My family moved when I was in the eighth grade, and that kind of was like a fresh start. And I met a new group of friends there that became close friends
Oh,
for a very
nice.
long time, and some still to this day. But yeah, it was hard to be in and out.
Hmm.
The dropping in, and what I thought was so cool was that I was doing a Broadway national
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
Meant nothing to
To
public
anyone your
school
age.
middle
No.
schoolers.
Oh, it's so
Uh,
brutal.
but it's a brutal time for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate that I like had this thing that I love doing and had the opportunity to do it, and balanced school like everybody else.
Is it the same with like a show like that where it's a stage production, kind of like the same rules where if you have to go to school on like a TV set, is there like still like the 3 hour minimum whenever you're on a show like
Yeah,
that?
I think it was more than that. I don't remember all the details, but we had teachers. There were, I think, 12 kids that were on that tour. We had teachers, and in every city that we were in, they would set up a schoolroom, and that was
Mm.
in a hotel room or at the theater or somewhere nearby. And we would all go to school. I think it was like noon to 5, maybe were our
Yeah.
hours, Monday through Friday. Maybe Monday. I mean, if we had like Wednesday matinees, I don't remember because we had an
Oh, sure.
eight show schedule, but we were very much in school during the days and
Okay.
then doing the shows at night. And yeah, traveled with teachers, traveled with what they call wranglers, kid wranglers,
Mm.
kind
Hmm.
of like help you run a show during the run of the show, and yeah, whole production,
Wow.
and definitely some teachers were very supportive of this thing because you kind of work in tandem with your school, where you hope
Oh,
that your school is
Hmm.
sending some of the
like
work that
keep
you're
up.
supposed to keep up, kind of, but there's no real way to do that. And some teachers were very supportive of the whole thing, and some teachers were like, "This is extra. What are you talking? This is insane, and you're not keeping up. And so, what are we doing here?"
Hmm.
And that continued to be a relationship that I had with teachers for the rest of my school career. But God bless them. I mean, they were trying to help me out, and for the most part, my teachers were always incredibly supportive, and the school system itself was supportive. And I mean, when I eventually booked Phil of the Future, and that was in towards the end of my junior year of high school, and the school itself was very supportive in figuring out how to continue my studies so that I could come back and graduate.
Oh, that's nice.
When they didn't really have to do that, but yeah, for the most part, people were supportive.
Of course, we grew up watching you on Phil of the Future and Pixel Perfect. Were you a were
It's an
you a
honor. It's an honor.
were you a Disney fan like as a kid before you were on Disney Channel? Like either of the channel or just like Disney movies in general?
Yes and no. We didn't grow up with cable.
Mm.
So there was a lot that I wasn't aware of or didn't see. We did get cable. I don't remember the exact timing of it, but pretty soon before I booked that role. So I had just started to become familiar with, it would
Okay,
have been Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire pretty much
sure.
at that time.
Hmm.
There were definitely kids in my, and also I was I'm not sure what our age difference is, but I was like just older. It felt like that maybe some, like the core audience. But there were
Oh,
definitely quite a bit of folks in my. I remember a friend being angry with me when I booked the role because she thought that I personally was taking Lizzie McGuire off the air,
oh God.
Oh,
so that
wow.
Phil
It's all,
Future could take the place.
it's all your fault.
It is.
Hmm.
It is. I still hold that weight. Um, uh, no, yeah. So I was familiar with a lot of it, and definitely was a fan of Shia's work on Even Stevens, and was aware of it, and was aware of what a wonderful opportunity and what a big deal it was that even though I started in theater, I was always making movies with friends and had a handy cam and shooting short films and messing around in that way and making films with friends at school and out of school and uh, and so being on a television show or any kind of professional film work was also something that I aspired to do and had the experiences, had worked at that point on certain sets, had done TV movies, had done an episode of Law and Order and an episode of this and an indie film, and had enough experience to also know kind of like that first step into the theater world of like, oh, I love this, I love the
Mhm.
world, I love the collaboration here, and this is what I want to do. And yeah, so by the time Phil the Future became a real thing and I booked that role, it was this kind of dream come true scenario.
Which audition did you do first? Was it Phil the Future or was it Pixel Perfect?
It was Phil of the Future. Yeah, I we shot Pixel Perfect first, but
Mm.
I auditioned for Phil of the Future first. And I remember it being just a kind of, I was auditioning all the time. And it was just another audition. I remember walking in, and from what I remember and had been told, they were kind of figuring out what the cast was going to be like and age wise, what the characters' ages were going to be. And I remember going into the room, the waiting room, and like everyone else was like 12 years old, and I was 16 or I was thinking I was 16 at the time. I was like, oh man, I'm not getting this. I guess I'm not getting this one because that happens sometimes. And and yeah, and I had just finished at 16 years old growing my sideburns, and I was very proud of them. And
Wow.
Jody, our casting director,
Oh
said, "I
no.
want you to come back tomorrow, and I want you to take off your
Oh
sideburns." And I
no.
was
Jody.
devastated.
Jody, Jody, you don't know what he went
Jody,
You
we
have
we worked
through,
any
so hard.
idea
Jody.
the work
Jody.
that went in? And I did, and then I ended up flying to Los Angeles for a test. But yeah, so that whole process happened first, and then I went to put myself on. Yeah, I put a tape in for Pixel Perfect, and then it lined up that I went to Salt Lake City to shoot Pixel Perfect first, and then went straight to Los Angeles to start production on Phil the
Mm,
Future. Yeah,
What a year.
yeah. They do a
well,
lot. Disney does a lot of movies in Salt Lake.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole system down there, and they have an incredible crew. And they're at the time, I'm not sure what happens there now, but yeah, there was a production company that did most of those, and those guys were working year round. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney Channel movies
They
were
would
just
pump
coming
them
out
Oh,
one
out.
they
after
were
the
coming.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did High School Musical out there, and like
Hmm.
the newer High School Musical they shot out there, and Salt Lake City is so beautiful, and
Mm.
uh, yeah, it was a really really wonderful experience shooting both of those. And Mark, our director on Pixel Perfect, was like an old ILM guy. He had worked on like Star Wars. He was a
Oh.
visual effects guy. And there's a documentary on Lucasfilms and kind of the beginning of all that. And he's all over it. And so it was kind of this. I had done some work, and like I said, I did a Law and Order episode, I did a TV movie, I did these things, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, these guys are are like legit.
Legit.
Not that
Yeah.
the others weren't, but especially with those other jobs, you kind of jump in and out of them. And all of a sudden, I had the opportunity of on Pixel Perfect, I was the lead character, and so it was kind of
Hmm.
this, all access pass thing. I was like there all day, every day. Um, our cinematographer Rodney Charters shot was shooting 24, and this was his hiatus. And my family had been a fan of that show, and so this kind of like all of a sudden I was not only surrounded by that kind of talent and people with this kind of pedigree, but I had access to really talk to them and ask
Mm.
questions. And rather than when you're doing an episode of something, you're kind of in and out real quick.
Sure.
And I love that. And it's what those experiences really made me fall in love with the process of filmmaking, not just being an actor and enjoying performing, but um, yeah, the creative, technical side and collaboration that it takes for hundreds of people to make 90 minutes of film. That, and in the same way that I love that for theater too. And in theater, it's a little more all visible because you're all in the room together and you're all figuring it out together. And film, there's so many people that are hidden, and all of a sudden I had access to that and got to become friends with the grips or the camera department or any of these other people, and yeah, that fascination is still very much alive in me.
I love that. Yeah, you get to see
Mm.
every side of it while you're in it
Yeah.
for how long did you guys film Pixel Perfect? Like a month
A
or
month and a
two?
half, I think. Yeah, I
Okay.
think we were probably there for about a month and a half or so. I think a lot of those, maybe it was like 5 weeks, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Gosh,
that's
it's a
great.
machine. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. I rewatched it not too long ago, and it's crazy how relevant that movie is
Yeah.
today.
I
It's
know.
wild,
Before its
right?
time.
We should, yeah, we should take it on the road. Do a
Yeah.
little
Hmm.
AI talk meets Pixel Perfect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, pretty crazy,
It's
pretty crazy.
wild.
Yeah, we're just in the Pixel Perfect world now.
It was like the scene where they were showing how they put Loretta's voice together, and I was like, oh, this is literally what all actors are afraid about with AI, of them taking like
Yes.
5% of this person, a little bit of this.
A hundred
And it's
percent.
just
Yeah, it's what
happening.
SAG
Really ahead of
after
its
is
time.
working furiously to try and protect against.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it is crazy. It's totally crazy, and it's a crazy movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in at least a decade, but I did go back and watch it maybe 2 decades ago now. It's hard to say. I was like, this is insane. This is a totally crazy, insane movie.
Uh-huh.
But we had a good
We
Good
time.
loved
enough.
it. Yeah. Everyone ate it up.
So happy to hear that. So happy to hear that. Yeah, wild times. I got to wear fake glasses. I remember being really excited about that.
Oh,
Um,
that is fun.
and shooting in like fake rain and
Mhm.
yeah, it's so long ago though now. I have a hard time
Yeah.
rewatching my own work.
Do you?
Yeah, I like watching things once, basically, just to know how they came together, especially if it's VFX heavy.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't. I have a hard time. Why? I don't need to
You
do
don't
that.
need to see it. So
No.
then, would you watch like Phil the Future Weekly as it came out then?
Yeah, we would watch. I would watch kind of like once to know, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I also, because of my fascination with cinematography and the filming aspect of it, the technical aspect of it, I did on Phil the Future became really close with our camera crew, and on lunch they would all get together and watch the dailies, which is just kind of
Mm.
what you shot the day before, just kind of looking for technical glitches and making sure we shot the first season of Phil the Future. We shot on film, on 16 millimeter film,
Wow.
and so the dailies process at the time was really important to know if you got it. And I would sit with them during lunch and watch and kind of learn from them and see what they were seeing. And so, uh, what was I saying? I don't remember.
We
But
were talking about
Talking about,
if you would watch it as it aired.
oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I would watch a lot of the process happening through because of that, especially
Mhm.
sitting in with the camera crew for dailies. But yeah, I'd watch it. I'd watch it once, and then
Okay.
any more than that, you start to pick it apart. You're like, why did I do that? Why did I blink there?
Sure.
Why did I move my
Oh,
head like
yeah.
that? What? And
It's already done.
it's
So you
already
don't need
done.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As long as the public viewing likes it, then I'm happy.
Exactly. And we were very easy critics. We would have never noticed anything wrong as
No.
we were watching it at
No,
12
the
years
perfect, the
old.
target audience. Never
Perfect.
known.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad it worked. It really is. I've said it before, but like, it's such an honor to, and I, because Disney Channel and the way that cable worked at that time, and it was pre social media at all. I mean, there was no
Mhm.
social, MySpace wasn't a thing yet. Um, it felt like if you were a Disney kid, you watched it all the time. Like,
Yeah.
Disney kids, for anybody, it was Nickelodeon kid. You came home and turned it on, and we were in your living room with you, and to have been a part of something that brought that much joy to like a generation, and felt so intimate to an audience is just so cool and kind of hard to comprehend almost because
Mhm.
it was a two-way street, but not really, like we came into your living rooms and that's so cool, but we didn't necessarily weren't able to receive that kind of, it wasn't a conversation always. And I think that is different now with social media where people
Yeah.
have direct access to their audiences. And we would have events and, we'd go to Disneyland and have, do signings and do school tours. I did like an Imagineering tour at some point. And so you'd get a sense of a reaction, from these things, but you just didn't know. You were just kind of, and if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, we shot the entire first season of Phil the Future before it aired. So it
Oh
wasn't kind
wow.
of what happens sometimes on network TV where you shot like 3 or 4, you get a little bit of a run up, and then it starts airing, and then they decide if you're going to go. So we made the entire thing in a total bubble of like, well, we're having fun,
Sure.
Yeah.
and then it gets released, and you hope that it lands. And so
Yeah.
the fact that it did is really um, uh, an honor, and I'm grateful to have been a part of something and give voice to something that like resonated and made anyone laugh is just great.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it was such a fun show. Like even just the concept itself, watching it, you just wanted every single gadget. I still
Oh,
remember so vividly. It's a small part of an episode, but I think it was an intro, and Pim is in the bathroom and her hair looks crazy, and she just grabs this gadget and goes like this. And I was like desperate for that because she had the most perfect hair in
Yeah, she did
30
have incredible. Amy
seconds.
had incredible hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, that was really really fun. Those were the fun things to go back and rewatch, or those are the reasons that it was fun to go back and rewatch.
Yeah.
Because we would have these kind of. I remember hearing a story about Star Trek that like in the beginning of shooting Star Trek, their sets and toys were so cheap that once it came out, they would just go buy the props at the toy store because they were like better made than what they actually had on set. Uh, and I
Oh,
think there
wait,
was
like
a,
the ones that they would make from the show
yeah,
in
exactly.
stores.
Yeah, they would just go
Oh,
get the one in the
jeez.
store because it like looked better and worked better.
that's hilarious.
Uh,
Oh my
and
gosh.
based on like what their budget allowed for
Yeah.
on set. And there was a bit of that of like lo-fi. We had these two stage, and it's just how TV worked. And I remember hearing at some point that like the budget, we were shooting at the same time that the OC was being made, and the
Mm.
budget for the music supervision for like just for the soundtrack for each episode for the OC was larger than the budget for Phil the Future. All to say, like for each episode,
Total.
Wow, wow,
the
wow.
total. And so
Hmm.
all to say that like you have this kind of like we had this incredible prop department.
Yeah.
it wasn't that it was shoddily made, but you have these weird props in your hand and you just have no
Mhm.
idea what it's going to look like. And then you go back and watch it and you see kind of the magic come together, and that's really fun.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's also what makes the show so special is like as a kid you're not looking for the most amazing
Totally.
special effects like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, the first season at least. I think we changed on this first season, on the second season, but on the first season, the Skyak was really just like on a. It was like one of those toys at a park where like it's just on a spring and you just kind of bounce back and
oh
forth.
yeah.
Oh
Like that
yeah.
was that's all it was. That's all it was on a green screen. And then second season, we got the upgrade and we had like this hydraulic thing. We're like, ooh, we're fancy now.
I wanted one of those. I wanted that and I
I
wanted the
know.
spray that made the meatloaf.
God, just the
The two things
convenience
I
of all
wanted.
The
these gadgets.
convenience, incredible,
Yeah.
incredible.
I remember so many times feeling that way. Is there one that stood out for you that maybe you wanted or wished was real?
I mean, the Skyak for sure. The
Yeah.
flight would be fantastic, and the Wizard broadly because it just kind of was a catch-all. You could do
Mhm.
quite a lot with it. but the Skyac for sure. I'd want to jet ski in the
That'd be
sky.
Oh
perfect.
God, yeah. And
Yeah,
with the
that's
name too, the
Yeah.
Skyac.
also like, can you imagine
Genius.
battling LA traffic? You don't have to
Oh,
think about it.
Oh, see ya,
You'd be in
amazing.
Studio
suckers.
City in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And hop on my Skyac. Bye.
exactly.
Yeah.
Bye. I like Skyac with an attitude.
Oh, because I mean, not everybody has one.
Just really
I
sassy
Right.
as you
mean,
levitate. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Bye.
It's like, what is that? Is it a Lime scooter? What does he
Yeah,
have?
yeah. Bumper sticker just says bye. Yeah,
Bye.
yeah,
Bye.
yeah.
And we know that you've said in other interviews that if it came down to it, you would be down for a Phil of the Future reboot. Have you put any thought into where you would see Phil today?
Well, I just want to clear up that like people ask, would you? And it's not me trying to necessarily put out into the world that I'm trying to make it happen
Sure.
by any means.
Mhm.
Nor do I have the power to. I just loved making it and loved the people involved, and am always looking for any opportunity to be creative with creatives that I love. But where Phil would be, I don't know. I like the setup that they did with Raven, where it's kind of a handoff to the next generation, and as a parent, that's a very intriguing storyline. And does Phil come back and Keely has a whole family and he kind of, has to navigate that. And I don't know. It was such a cliffhanger in a fun
Yeah.
way that it's hard
Mhm.
to say where they ended up. Um, but I should put more thought into it just for the fun of the mental exercise. Yeah. Do you have any pitches?
Oh
I do
God.
like the family aspect,
Yeah,
but I'm
because
just like,
that
what? You could be in any year.
that's the thing. It's pretty endless with a show like Phil of the Future. They could do a lot of stuff, and perhaps maybe is why they haven't picked one because there's a, a lot of years that they could choose from.
I love
But
the
yeah,
idea that they haven't brought Phil of the Future back because they just can't decide which year to put them
That's
in.
the only
they
reason.
The only
they've
reason
just
that we haven't gone back for season 3, like we
they
just that
just
is too many
keep
years.
They've just
yeah.
been
There's
sitting
too
there really
many.
racking their brains.
It's
Yeah,
overwhelming.
there is a writer room. They've existed for 20 years. They just can't pick
They're
a year.
overwhelmed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
I would be. I'm not good at picking things, so I would be like, I can't decide
Yeah, guys, this
which
is never
one.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
And have you noticed or seen anything maybe online, any new fans since shows have started to be streamed? And there's kids today that could be finding these shows and maybe having a whole different take on it than we did.
That's really interesting. To be honest, I'm not very active on social media, so I am not sure. I think the sweet thing that has happened is that now that our generation is are having families, whether it's their own or
Mhm.
nieces or nephews or anything like that, hearing stories of people sharing it with the next generation is really sweet. Uh, but I've not necessarily heard of like a big swell of new Phil of the Future fans. But again, I think that there's something so fun about what it was at that time, where it was
Yeah.
like every day it was there.
Yeah.
And for all those shows, it was like, they were just streaming into households every single day,
They really were on repeat, like on Disney Channel all the time.
all the time.
Yeah, in the
And
best way, it was all we had. We
it was
didn't
all
have
it
all
was.
these options.
Yeah, and there were no, back then, and I don't know what Disney Channel does now, but there were no commercials. It was all these interstitials of
Yeah.
like us saying like exercise and read books and
So
Eat
true.
healthy.
yeah, and so that kind of fandom, or whatever you want to call that, of like popularity with the audience, because there was no social media, because like that was what was there, that was the entertainment for a bit. I'm not sure that's recreatable in a
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
and but knowing that people are sharing it with their kids or their youngers is really touching.
Grace, you need to start showing your 1 month baby
It's
Phil of the
time.
Future.
Oh, no, David and I have already planned both of my kids' lives. They're going to be the ones that are talking about shows like Phil of the Future. They will not know what's going on today. We will just stream the shows we grew
Old
up
shows,
with.
yeah.
I
That's
will
it.
be on their podcast as well.
Great.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Great, great, great. We'll book you in.
Back to the best, the next generation.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
David, that was way too quick. We already have it. Oh no. Oh no. Fine.
One thing that was always really fun on Disney Channel was whenever you all got together, it was like the Avengers would come together, like with the Circle of Stars. Was
Oh, they would all
was that really
assemble.
fun
Yeah.
whenever you got to do that music video?
Absolutely. It was such a specific experience of leaving home and coming out to LA and being on a TV show and being on a Disney show, which is its own kind of beautiful machine, and the events and all this stuff. And so there weren't a lot of people that understood what that experience was like. And even though there were adults that were very supportive of it, to be able to turn to Ashley Tisdale or Raven or the Sprouse kid, like any or the kids, or Allie and AJ or Amy, and be like, this is crazy. Uh, that bond was very specific and comforting. And so those moments where we would all be together for a music video or for an event, it was special. And there was kind of like, I see you, you good. We were babies, um, and so having each other it felt important. And those were really strong friendships. I mean, there are people. Evan Peters was on Phil of the Future. We're still very close to this day, and like some of those bonds just stuck. And I think it's because it was, I was very fortunate that I had a very positive experience, and I really can't look back and, oh man, I was treated poorly. I just had a really wonderful experience, and so those group activities kind of made it all the more fun.
Oh, we love hearing that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we had the privilege of speaking with Allie and Craig Anton as well. And just
The best.
both of them had truly just nothing but wonderful things to share as well. So it
Yeah.
really just sounds like what a great environment you guys had to all just play and create and just be together for all those years.
Yeah, it felt that way. And I mean, Craig specifically was like the funniest person I'd ever met. He was, I've told this story before, but when we were doing our final auditions, kind of like our final round of testing, we were paired together to read, for kind of like all the executives. And he made me laugh so hard during the audition that I was certain that I didn't get the role because I like just couldn't keep a straight face.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And then learned that we both booked it, and I was just so elated that like I get to hang out with this guy. I get to learn from this guy. This guy knows how to make people laugh, and that is a talent. And I get to be around that. And yeah, I mean, Craig is just wildly entertaining and continues to this day, but it's for so many years just to be so supportive. And you do on these jobs create your own little family, and creative collaboration is its own crazy bond. And I'm sure you guys have that. You have your families and you have your friends and all that, but like when you are creating something with somebody else, you're on this different wavelength.
Yeah.
Whether it's organizing an interview or filming something, or like it's cool. And the fact that we had just really wonderful people as a part of that show was, yeah, just incredible.
You mentioned that you loved learning about all the different sides of the, technical aspect of everything whenever you were on set. And congratulations on your film Drag we saw it got a distributor recently. Is there
Thank
anything
you
you
so
can
much.
tell us about that movie?
Absolutely. I'm so proud of it, and it's such a crazy film. We are hopefully going to be in theaters in January, which is wonderful. Briarcliff, this incredible distribution company, picked us up. They're all wildly talented and in their own right. And yeah, I had started really post Phil of the Future being more and more interested. And it started when I was young, like I said, making films with friends, but just trying to create more of my own work, learning about writing, um, producing, filming things, learning how to edit. And that took so many different lives through the past couple decades. and I had a show that was in development, a TV show that was pitched and was in development, which just means it was sitting around for a long time. TV shows take so long to pull together, and was out with a friend. And he also had a TV show that was in development, kind of taking a long time. And we're like, what can we just go make ourselves? Let's just write something that we can go make, and it doesn't go. We're both kind of from the East Coast, have that New Yorker mentality of DIY, just go make, just go do it.
Uh-huh.
And we were kind of tired of waiting for other people to tell us it was our turn. And so we decided to get together and try to write something small that, worst comes to worst, we'd take out our credit cards and just go for it.
Hmm.
But we wrote a project that is four characters in basically one location, and it started to come together pretty quickly. A couple months later, we had a reading of it, and Lucy DeVito is an old pal from my New York theater days, and she was like perfect in my mind for a character, and we just wanted to hear it out loud. And she and some other friends came to read it, and we didn't know, but at the time, her father, Danny DeVito, and their production company was looking to start a slate of films to produce, and had just started to figure out what that looked like.
Hmm.
And the timing just couldn't have been better. They loved it. It was a perfect role for Lucy. Danny read the script and loved it, which was incredible. I mean, he's an icon not only as an actor but prolific producer, director. I mean, he directed Matilda, produced, some of our greatest films,
Yeah.
and has always been a champion of indie filmmakers. And so, because Greg Yagelnitzer is my writing partner and directing partner, because we wrote it with the idea of like, we want to go make something. We weren't looking to necessarily sell a script and have something else sitting around.
Sure.
Danny was always very supportive. Danny and Lucy, and Jake, Danny's son, Lucy's brother. They're like, of course you're going to direct it. This is your project.
Hmm.
And we just kind of hit the ground running like that. And they were always
That's
super
so
supportive
cool.
of the film that we wanted to make. So it's about two sisters who go to rob a house, and one of them throws out their back when they're inside the house, and then they got to
So
get
Oh
relatable.
my
out of the
God.
house before the
My
homeowner gets
God.
home, and it all goes haywire. Yes, we both, Greg and I, both have experienced quite a bit of back pain and throwing out our
Mm.
backs, and
It-
And
it,
robbing
there's
houses.
and robbing houses. Yeah, got to
yes.
make ends meet in between these projects,
Hmm.
Hmm.
God.
Um, Grace, I'm sorry, you've experienced your own back pain.
Oh, so much.
Yeah. Do you know about
So
the book,
much.
the John Sarno book, Healing Back Pain?
No, but I need it. Mostly my dad needs it.
You
It's
gotta
just, we're genetically not set up to have good backs.
you got to read it. Healing Back. Send me your address, and I'm going to send you a book. We write
Oh my
about it in the
gosh.
movie, and it is a real thing. This book helped both Greg and I,
Wow.
and like to this day, I use these mantras from the book that actually are helpful.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so, while the movie that we wrote is a comedy thriller, dabbles in horror, it's really a public service for everyone experiencing back pain.
No, it's relatable. I've never robbed anything, but the amount of times you're doing something, it's the most, we're talking about convenience earlier. It's very inconvenient to have any back pain. You can't do anything all of a
Can't do
sudden.
anything. You can't
You
do
can't do a
No.
anything.
thing. And then
Yeah.
if you're in the middle of robbing, I mean, you kind of can't get out of there. You can't move.
Kind of can't get out of that.
Everything, you all of a sudden cannot go anywhere.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. I experienced that version of it where I literally couldn't get off a couch for
Ooh.
4 or 5 days. I could not sit up with almost passing
It's
out.
awful.
It was terrible. It was really, really terrible. And so we were like, well, what is the most ridiculous place that could happen? And we
No,
decided
it's
That's
robbing
so
a
hysterical.
house
smart.
would be it. And we
Yes.
have this incredible cast: John Stamos, who you should have on this
Oh,
podcast if you haven't, and Lizzie Kaplan, who also, I mean, just a prolific career and incredible actor. Christine Coe, and Lucy DeVito. They just knock
it's
it out
such
of
a
the
good
park,
cast.
and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
so fun and so funny and just so committed. Everybody really went for it. We've got an incredible crew together, and we got to go shoot it upstate New York last winter, and then premiered it at South by Southwest, which was an absolute dream. That was our goal, was to go to South by.
Hmm.
Had always been like our favorite festival, and now we get to kind of tour the world doing genre festivals with it. I was never a
That's so
genre
cool.
guy. I I've always enjoyed all different kinds of genres, but never considered myself like a sci-fi or a horror person. But in these past couple of years, working more in the space, I've totally dove in, and I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan. And there's like a silliness and a fun to these genres that at first glance are maybe either just violent or just gory or just scary, but they often do say something about society and what we're going through, and it's like a way to express it.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
there's this book. I have a translation on these Greek tragedies, and there's this opening intro to the book that's about how we as a society need tragedy. We need to figure out a way not to experience tragedy, but we need performance, tragedy and performance, and we need to be able to see that so that there's greater empathy and compassion and a way to kind of like release this crazy pent up
We all need
stuff that
that.
we all got,
Yeah.
and that we don't
Yeah.
actually go out and do something horrible. And it's helpful to experience that on a screen sometimes. And so our film falls into a little bit of that. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty
So
out
excited to
there.
see
We
this.
Oh, I
get
can't
we
wait.
get pretty messy. But it has been a lot of fun to bring it to audiences. We had 3 incredible sold out screenings at South by, and watching it with a crowd is so fun. And
Was
I'm
that
just
the
so
first
proud.
time you watched it with an audience?
Yeah, the finished product. We had done a series of test screenings
Oh,
for
okay.
people, and there's one moment that gets pretty uh, intense, and somebody actually left and threw up,
Oh my
and
God.
came back and finished the movie.
I love that they
Oh,
came
good for
back.
them. Well,
Yeah,
they had to see
They
what
really
happens.
rallied.
yeah, and we're not trying to make, that's not the goal of the film.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's make that
you're not
clear.
handing out like puke buckets as you walk
Right,
into the
right, right.
theater.
Not at all. And this person hadn't
Right.
been warned that it was a genre film. They like came with a friend and just they didn't know what they were walking into.
Mm-hmm. Just a one-off. Yeah.
Just a one-off. Just a one-off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not gonna happen again.
But we've been having a lot of fun. The audiences have been really wonderful, and we're so excited to bring it to theaters. I mean, getting to make a movie and it go to movie theaters, like, talk about the dream. That's all I've ever thought about since I was, like 5 years old. It's crazy.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
You said you think January for in theaters?
January right now, yeah, we don't have a date on. There's not a specific date as of today, as of this recording.
Okay.
We'll be playing lots of festivals around the world up until its wide release in theaters, and yeah, and we're so excited for people to come see this thing and get to talk about it more. And thank you for the opportunity to get to talk about it today.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
congratulations.
Truly our pleasure. I'm so excited. It like the tagline just is already enough. Like I'm trying to like I'm almost picturing in the weirdest way, I don't know why, but kind of like in Home Alone in the chaos when they're like pranking all the burglars, Harry and Marv. When Kevin's pranking them, it's funny, but also like they should have died. It
Oh yeah,
was really bad, the things that were happening, but you were cracking up laughing.
that
So I
is that
have
is
that kind of vibe.
our greatest honor that we have received. Our greatest review that we've received thus far at test audiences, when people said it reminded them of Home Alone.
Oh, great.
And so
Yeah.
there's definitely that ethos
There's
is
that
baked
element.
into.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, even more excited because one of the best ever. But that's what I was thinking.
100%.
Yeah.
And then
100%. One of the best ever.
Thank you so much, seriously, for taking your time and
yes,
doing this. We have
this has
loved
been so
everything about
great.
Liz,
this.
thank you so much. I have had such a nice time, and this was relaxing and fun and nice to go down memory lane. And I appreciate you making the time for me. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, guys. I really had a nice time.
Thank you. So nice
Thank
to
you so
meet you.
much.
Yeah, you as well. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.